Off day drove down to be with us. We're grateful for that. And I want to start with this. It's the most innocuous of questions you get asked 100 times a day, but I mean it sincerely when I ask, how you doing?
Doing great. I appreciate you asking. Yeah, it's been a very long year and a few months since I got diagnosed, but being back playing baseball is, something that I wasn't always sure could happen, but it's so great to be back, and I'm cherishing every second of it.
So I'm driving around today and I hear like the CDC has said, well, if you've got your vaccines, you can get rid of the masks inside, outside. I'm thinking, all right, we can put the misery of 2020 behind us. And then I think about talking to you tonight, and instantly I think, well, let's frame this accurately, right? Like, I had to wear a mask and we didn't have sports to talk about for a bit. You have a cancer diagnosis that basically the timeline almost exactly overlaps with the pandemic exploding. And if you go back to that time and just think about what you see most clearly right now, how would you even explain that?
It's hard to describe, but yeah, to be diagnosed with cancer, it was March 6, 2020 when I was diagnosed. I had a colonoscopy because my iron levels came back low during our spring training physicals. And then I got a colonoscopy, got diagnosed. 6 days later, I had surgery, and that's when spring training shut down, right. Kind of in the middle of my surgery, so I woke up to a different world. So it was a really strange feeling, and it was obviously a tough year for everybody in the world, but it had a different meaning for me especially.
Well, I mean, look, as I say, we couldn't go to restaurants. You're fighting for your life in many respects. I mean, this, and I, as such a young man, in the middle of all that, and what that meant, like maybe an inability not to be with people or to be, I don't know, feel isolated. You could explain best to me. When it gets dark, and I imagine it must, like, where do you find light in that time?
Yeah, it was a really weird and difficult time, but my girlfriend, Sarah, she was with me every step of the way. She was there when I got diagnosed, there during my surgery, as was the rest of my family. I'm really close with my parents and sisters as well, but, during the pandemic, we couldn't really see anybody too much, so it was Sarah and I, so she took care of me. After I came home from my treatments, I wasn't feeling good for a few days, and she just, helped me get through and helped me stay positive. So, she was the light of my world during that really dark time.
Well, she's with you here, and I understand what you mean about the light. That's easy to see. I wonder about baseball and what it represented. Stuart Scott, when he was ill, he kept working, and I would sit there with him on the set, and knowing that, like, it's kicking his ass, but he's here tonight to show everybody I still got this, because he did.
Yes.
And it was this carrot that was out there, like, I'm going to go do that even though. What did baseball represent to you as something to get back to?
Yeah, it was always the goal. From the second I was diagnosed, I knew that I wanted to get back to baseball. But at the same time, it took a back seat. But I knew that would be the end goal after chemotherapy, would be to build myself back up to be able to play again. And that was a huge inspiration throughout the whole battle.
When you come back, and I remember vividly Fenway, and it's like, people talk about bigger than baseball. Well, like the ovations there, that's a pretty bitter rivalry going back a long, long time.
It was weird being in Boston and New York that first week, and everybody was nice to me. It was at first, but it was nice.
Yeah, don't get used to that.
Yeah.
That'll fade, right? Like, I mean, that's that guy, he was ill, but whatever. He's still wearing the wrong uniform for us to really love him. But like, I mean, well, you get to first base and somebody daps you up or whatever. I mean, you're the guy living it. To be embraced that way in Boston, in New York, what's that mean?
It's amazing. The fans, like I said, of both those teams, our fans, basically everywhere I've gone, everybody's been really nice, and it's been incredible, but it's something that you're not used to as an opposing player. And all the other guys, but every single team we've played, everybody has just told me, what it means to them for me to be back out there, and it means a lot for me to hear that from them. Because to me, I'm back playing baseball, and I'm just, the same old Trey, but to get a lot of attention because of what I went through is pretty crazy.
I've heard it said that normal is a setting on a washer and dryer. Like, what's normal really mean? But you get out there and you look like you, and you lead the team in homers. You're playing like a guy that we remember seeing before this last year. As you're in the ballpark, you're in the lineup, you're first base, whatever. Does it feel normal? Not that last year didn't happen, but I just wonder, do you feel like you felt before?
I definitely do, and I wouldn't be back playing if I didn't. I'm a very intense player, and I expect a lot out of myself, and if that ever changed, I don't know if I'd still have that same edge to me, so that's always going to be a part of me, and I really want to do well, like I say. So the first game, after my first 2 at-bats, I got a little frustrated, and I'm like, okay, I'm back. This is pretty typical.
Already pissed off, right?
Yeah, already. 2 at-bats in the season, and I grounded into 2 double plays, and I was like, okay, we're back.
Let's pick that up.
Yeah,
kid.
yeah, exactly.
It's only May, so I mean we got a lot of time to have like the moment. But is there a singular? Is it that moment we showed in Camden when you're back? I mean, is there something that you think when you're an old guy and you reflect back on this comeback year, the moment that has really landed with you and felt like something that'll always stick with you?
It actually came earlier than I thought. It was the first game of spring training this year. I went to the park, and I wasn't really expecting too much. I was just happy to be playing in a game again, and I got a big standing ovation at our home opener in spring training, and it was incredible, and I had goosebumps. I was fighting back tears, and I wasn't really expecting that many emotions in a spring training game. That's the moment that everything kind of started, and I felt like I was back starting then, and like I said, I didn't expect to feel like that until the regular season started.
I was telling you and Sarah about my little kids. We live closer to Washington, but they know their dad grew up an Oriole fan. So when you guys come to this neck of the woods, or when we go up there, I promise you that they'll be wearing that bird on their hat.
Love to hear that. Yeah, can't wait to have you guys up there.
Right on. Well, we look forward to getting there, and I mean this sincerely. It's an off day. You could have been anywhere, but I appreciate you coming down. And it's just one last thought. Like what you represent now is something different, whether you wanted to or not. And I just wonder, Trey, like, to the people that are in the fight and the perspective that you now have, not an obligation, is there like a want to want to say to that boy, that girl, that man, that woman, I know about the people you connected with in your fight, to just keep swinging, literally?
Yeah, I had so many people that I talked to throughout my cancer journey, a lot of people who formerly had colon cancer, and that's what helped me almost more than anything, was talking to other people who went through something similar. And now I feel the responsibility to do that for anybody else that's going through, whether it's colon cancer, anything, any sort of battle. I want to be there to help inspire people and let them know that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
I'm the worst in the business at saying goodbye, so take this opportunity to get out of here while you still can. 3-game set with the Yankees. Keep doing what you're doing. You know that we're rooting for you, but apparently they are in New York and Boston and all over, so keep doing what you're doing, my man.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.